Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday, everyone. My name is Leibella Ralston. On behalf of Faber-Castell USA, we are so happy that you are here joining us live. Of course, I am so super grateful that you always join the live classes because it's much better when we're doing and we're having a little bit of engagement. But to everybody that's watching on YouTube, hello, and I hope you'll be able to join us next time as well. Okay, so today we're going to do one of my favorites. It's brush lettering, and we have a brand new pen that we want to share with you. So we have these brand new black edition brush pens. I think that when we did like 3 weeks ago, we did some comprehensive, really deep dive into the different brush pens that Faber-Castell has. I think we kind of just glanced over this one because this was brand new to me, and I have been playing with them nonstop. And let me tell you what, it's really fun. It's very different from the other brush pens that Faber-Castell offers. Now, I think if you are a beginner, I honestly think that you're going to find this. I think you're going to love this one. First of all, it is inexpensive. Brush pens are a fabulous tool, but also it is slightly complicated. And also because if this is something, a new hobby that you picked up, you're going to have to learn a whole lot about the brush strokes that you're going to create, right? It's all about the thin and the thick strokes. So it's all about the type of pressure, the amount of pressure that you're going to apply using your brush pens. So with that being said, if you're not using the right paper, it can damage your brush tip really easily. And so that means that you're going to have to kind of like go through your brush pens really fast. So if you are a beginner, you want something inexpensive, but also really good. The second one that I want to point out with these brush pens is that they're called the super soft brush. But to be completely honest with you, because I have been doing a lot of lettering for the last, I don't know, decade and more, I noticed that when the tip of your brush pen is super soft, it's actually much harder to create a thin stroke, which is your upstroke. So I'm just going to try and zoom this real quick so we can look at the brush pen much better. So here we go. So if your brush tip is slightly longer, what it does is that it gives a very flexible amount. Um, and what it does, it gets harder to create the thinner line or your upstroke. So this one just has enough flex on the tip of the brush and not all throughout the whole nib. So your flex is about half from the tip to the middle part of your brush pan. So you can create thinner line. It's much easier to create the thinner line and then create your thick line. So you go up and then you press on your brush or your pen to apply some pressure. So for your downstroke, you create the thick and then you go slightly upwards to create your thinner stroke. So downward is heavy stroke, upwards is very light strokes, right? So those are the two things that are so important. And if you need help with your brush lettering, we have some past classes that we have made, some brush lettering 101 that you can find on Michael's YouTube channel, which are very helpful, especially if you are, like what I said, beginning to fall in love with the art of hand lettering. All right, so I'm going to look at our chat and make sure that I have everybody here. I can see Jennifer said, I saw those markers at Michael's last weekend. Wonderful. Perfect. I think you're going to love it. So here, are we having some audio issues, guys? Okay. It seems like everybody else can hear. All right. So let's just review real quick before we finish the whole quote. If you haven't printed your handout, I think Carrie will be able to share it. No, it's fine. Okay, good. Thank you. I think Carrie will be able to share it. It's just always so helpful to have the handout because I know it's nice to kind of like learn from the very beginning, to how to compose your letters and all that. But the time is so limited that the handout really does help because even if we have the handout and even if we kind of like trace over it, we're still going to have to really learn all the position and also learning where to apply your brush strokes or your thicker strokes and the thin strokes. And that's what we're going to go through. You're going to hear me say those words a lot because those are the ones that really matters when it comes to brush lettering, because brush lettering is basically copying the old hand calligraphy. Remember the old style using the nib? So we want to mimic that look by using a different tool. We use those, we create those thin and thick strokes by using the old calligraphy nib. But this time when you're doing brush lettering, you're mimicking or copying the look of the thin and thick strokes, but using a brush pen. So typically it's the same application. You go light going up and then you go thick going down, but we're just using a different tool. All right. So if you don't have this, if you don't have the handout, I do apologize, but we're going to kind of scheme through it. And if you have it, and if you don't have the graphite sheet, one of my favorite techniques that I like to share with you is using a graphite pencil. It's just a plain pencil. And I'm just going through to the back of my page. I want to make sure that I cover the whole area where the words are, the whole quote, right? So we'll just go through it. So this is a DIY graphite transfer sheet. And like make sure that everything's covered. Just like that. I'm going to zoom out real quick. Have it just like this. I'm going to go flip through that. Make sure that it's in the middle. Then lay it flat. If you want, you can kind of like use a paper clip to hold it down. You can also use a washi tape maybe, but I'm just going to hold it down, and I'm not going to add the embellishments and all those fancy flourishes yet. We're just going to go through the words. And so for people that do not have your handout, you kind of like just look at this, position your words. The first word is because, when we, and then all that. So I'm just going to apply some pressure and then trace over my letters. Just like this. And this is going to give me the perfect sketching on the back. So this is like my base. The letters that I used in this piece, I have a serif. Serif has those little tiny tails. Let me see, zoom in. So this is a serif style. It's kind of like those old style as well. And I really love it. So when you see those clean letters, kind of like fonts in the computers, they're more clean looking without those little tiny tails sticking out. That one is called sans serif. So basically it's just without or no serif, right? So I think it's a French word. I could be wrong. All right. And then here for the word stop, I'm going to go through the letter S first. So I'm not going to try and do all that flourishes. Just try to do the letter. Just like that. And then finish your flourishing. Just like that. Just like that. Maybe the markers that were listed on the website for this class was different. I think it's because these are very brand new markers. I'm surprised that we already have this in the store. So yay. You guys can pick it up next time. And then we're going to be using these markers for future projects as well. Because I know that, buying supplies and all that is an investment. So I want to make sure that you get a lot of usage from the supplies that you're going to purchase. For example, like our gelatos, we have been doing a whole lot of classes um, with the gelatos, and we have a whole lot more coming up, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We have a lot of Halloween, and then we have some fall projects coming up, and then we'll have some holiday projects coming up as well. So I'm super excited. All right. We're going to go just lift. I'm going to lift, but I'm still going to hold this because I don't want to move my paper, right? So I'm still holding it, putting my pressure in there. I'm just going to lift up so you guys can see how light. It's just a perfect sketching. It's super duper light. You might have a hard time seeing it. Let me adjust my brightness. I might be able to see it, but super light sketches, right? So that's the perfect amount of sketching that we want. Okay, I'm going to continue. And I want to thank everybody for being here today. Today is my birthday. And so, what is a perfect way to celebrate and spend your birthday than to spend it with you guys and create and play and do something creative? It's the best. So, we have life. I want you to pay attention also to the quote that we have in here. This is a pretty long one, right? So we have the word because. When we stop and look around, this life is pretty amazing. So the way I do my composition, how I like to do it is I write it down as a print. I mean, just plain and simple print. And then I divide my words exactly. So I divide them. And I want to focus, the first thing that I want to put focus on is that what are the words that I really want to highlight? So I want to, in this particular one, I wanted to stop. And so those are the biggest ones, right? And then it is also a mixture of some prints. The word because, the words look around is pretty amazing. Those are just simple prints, but in sans serif style. The reason why they still have a harmony and they still look great together, simply because um, I added some flourishing, kind of like when using a serif style. You have those little tiny tails, that sticks out into the letters. And so this is my favorite. This is my favorite style. I like it because even if it's not full flourish and it's not a script, with those little tiny highlights of tails, it really accentuates the letters and it matches the script perfectly. And again, I think it's really hard to say that this one's going to look best because we're all different. But I want you to try the serif style and then mix it with your script. Or if you don't like the ones with the serif, try it with a sans serif or just the clean fonts or just your regular handwriting. Mix and match, have some prints, have some script, and see how beautiful it's going to turn out. I think with that, having the variety of letters, and some are small, some are much larger, play around with that. Start with a simple writing first, and then second step, focus on the words that you want to highlight. And then after that, think about your composition, where to place them. Before I was able to find the perfect composition. Do you want to know how many times I've done it? I have done it a lot of times. So, this is a reminder that when you see something beautiful that's like perfectly composed quotes or even art, know that the person who did that went through many different variations as well. So, you can do the same thing. You can practice and just kind of like write it over and over again until you're really happy with what you see. All right. Okay, so we're almost done with the sketching. Sometimes I talk so much. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you. I feel pretty blessed. I love I love aging and I think it started when I was 35. I think 30s and 40s are it's very liberating. It really is. I love getting older. You learn so much. But I think after 50, my mom said it goes downhill from there. That I should prepare for the aches and pains. So, to all the youth that are here today, enjoy your youth. Do a lot of things that makes you happy because Life is precious. So find something that you're passionate about and do it very well. Those are the simple things in life. There. And then we have the word amazing. And I think that this quote is really, really fitting for today. Should always be reminded that life is beautiful. Should all slow down, especially this life right now. Everything is just kind of going so fast. All right, so I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, right, so we can see the whole thing. All right, I'm going to lift now. And then we have this quote. I'm going to zoom in again so we can look at the quote. See, it's very, very light. It's just the perfect sketch that I need. And actually, right now, before I start writing, I'm going to erase a little bit more because once we have the markers on top of that sketches, we won't be able to erase it anymore, right? Does that make sense? So I really want this to be very light. My favorite eraser when it comes to lettering in this project right here, or even just any project, I love um I love this eraser from Faber-Castell. Allow me a few minutes because I cannot think of the name. This is the, oh my goodness. This is the one, it's kind of like it's like a putty because look at this. It's just, you do this and then you roll it to however you want, like this, if you want it like that. But I just kind of roll on top of the sketches that I create. And it just gives me, it leaves me with this perfect amount of sketch that I need for my guide. We can also erase it just like a regular eraser, but then it's going to erase so much that I will not have enough guide anymore. So I just kind of roll through it like that. I can't still think of the name of the eraser. Now that's the beauty of getting old also. All right, here we go. Whew. Later, I'm going to remember that when I don't need the word anymore. So I'm going to pull out my brush pens. We're going to look at some colors. Purple and yellow does look very beautiful, but sometimes the yellow is very hard to see, especially when we're doing this. So the camera is hard. It's having a hard time picking up that color. But in the sample that I created, I have like the peach color, and then I have some orange as well in here, and then some blues. This is, the colors are limited to 4 colors. Usually 3 colors are great because that's when you really have a harmony in your page. And if we want to do that, we can use the cool tones in here. We have the teal color, the purple one, and the very light pink. And later we can actually use the light blue to add some drop shadow. All right. So I'm going to start with a teal. What I want to do is I want to focus per line. I want to use 1 color per line. So I'll start with a teal and go, you do this, use this for the word because. And then the next one, I will use the purple one and then kind of go back and forth there.
Hey, Lay, before you really get started, can you go over again? Are you using any particular type of paper?
Oh, the paper that I'm using right now is actually, this is a sketch paper, but I love it because it's very, very smooth. So this one is oh, never mind. It is a pen and ink. This one is from Canson. So it's a 7 by 10 size. So it's super duper smooth. It has a very smooth paper. That's why I really, really love it for markers and when I'm doing some brush lettering, because this is the one that I feel like will not hurt my brush nib as much as other papers. You don't want to use rough ones, but sometimes you cannot help yourself. So if you're using kind of like a mixed media paper, those have a little bit of textures. So what you want to do is you just want to play around with the amount of pressure that you apply when you're using your brush pen, because sometimes I need to do some watercoloring and I want to use my brush pens that are watercolor pigments like the Albrecht Dürer markers from Faber-Castell. I know I'm going to use a mixed media, and the mixed media has a little bit of roughness to it. So I just kind of adjust the amount of pressure I apply just to avoid to kind of like breaking and being too rough on the brush nib. All right, here we go. Whew. Remember, two important things. Going down, you're going to apply pressure. Going up or writing away from yourself, this is your upstroke. This is when you're going to apply very, very light pressure. All right. So again, downstroke, heavy, upstroke, light, and then using the tip of the brush. Downstroke, heavy, use the body of the brush. Upstroke, light, and use the tip of the brush. All right. Here we go. Let's get started. Heavy. I'm going to go zoom in just a little bit so we can see it. Just like that. And for some reason, the camera do not like the color blue. I don't know why. It's just so weird. It's always so weird. And then even when you're writing like cross bars, so kind of like when you're going horizontal, for example, when you draw the letter B or the belly of the letter B, you're going to do a little bit of horizontal first, right? So that should be thin as well. So use the tip of the brush, just like here, and then use the body to create that belly. So you have a thinner stroke. So we have a thin and then goes to heavy like that. So I'm going to do same. And then here, horizontal, I'm just going to use the tip of the brush. That color is so odd. Do that. It hurts my eyes. Here. Okay. Then I'll zoom in just a little bit more. Have that. Downstroke heavy. Doing all the little accents on the side or little tails. See how thin that is? And then I'm going to use the body of the brush to really create a heavier stroke. Then the tip of the brush again to create that. I think what's very important to understand when you're doing hand lettering is understand where your weakness is. My weakness is, I think I've shared this a couple of times before in the past. My weakness is from the downstroke, which is from the heavy to go light. Now it's easier to do the opposite, is from the light to heavy. That feels more natural to me. But when I'm writing heavy and then I need to switch to go to light, that's where the struggle is. So once you understand the struggle, I think it's much easier to put focus onto those things. Then you can keep practicing, because practice does not make perfect, but practice does make permanent. So remember that. So practice doesn't make perfect, it does make permanent. So all your progress, it's going to be a permanent thing. So keep practicing. All right, I'm going to switch my color to the purple one. And notice how, I don't know if you can see because it's super zoom in, I like to tilt my notebook to the left a little bit. So it's not straight like this. Zoom out. So see, it's not this. I don't write with my straight notebook. I always tilt it slightly to the left. This really does help me more when it comes to switching from the heavy to the light and vice versa. Here we go. Ooh. See, that one was like flawless because I was going light to heavy. And then now that I need to go heavy to light, I have to pause. And some people will think that is cheating, and it is cheating. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, especially if you know that that's where you're. That's my kryptonite right there. It's very hard. So even if I have been doing this for a very long time, I still struggle with it. And then another struggle is writing small. I write so big. Look at this. I have overstretched and made my W really big right there. So I'm going to have to adjust my other letters to accommodate the space. And now, because I have made my letter W so big, my word because is not exactly right in the middle, right? So, but those are the things that really does happen. So I want you to just kind of pay attention to those because it's important to see them because it's going to happen. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to find how we can pivot when things like that happen. And we're going to show you later how we're going to fix that. Okay, so now I don't think I want to use the letter blue just because it's so hard to pick it up, right? It's just giving me a headache. I don't know why. So I'm going to use the color coral in this set. So this is the pastel set. I think they're still going to look great. So notice how the letter S, kind of like how I sketched it, that's how I'm going to do it also. I'm going to add the flourishing later. We're going to start with the base of the letters first. And then this time using the tip of the brush, I'm going to create the flourish and bring it up just like that. Step by step, one stroke at a time. I am writing big again. Just feels so natural. I don't know. I feel so just like that. And then you add the flourish. And then from here, I'm going to go pick this up and then bring it up right there and then bring it down again for the ampersand. Right, then we use the purple again. And then this time it's just print, but even with the print letters or the serif letters, we're still going to apply the same rule, heavy going down and then light going up. If you feel like this is one of the comments I always get or questions that I always get is like, I do not see a difference from my thin and my thick. It's okay because I understand. One thing that you want to pay attention to is maybe you're not going light enough. And that was my struggle. I thought I was going light enough, but I wasn't going light enough. So I have no problem going down or applying pressure because I naturally write really heavy. So when I need to go light, I was not doing light enough to really concentrate on just the tip of the brush. So make sure to just really concentrate. If light or upstroke is where your struggle is, try to practice your light first and see how light you can go to create those strokes. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Hold on. Here's the packaging of our brush pen. This is called the Soft Brush Black Edition from Faber-Castell. So this is the one. I'm going to put it right here, Olivia. You might not be able to see it, but I'm going to go finish because time is so limited. Heavy again. And then once you guys start to really practice a whole lot with your quotes, you're going to start with writing names for friends or even just, in your letters, um, writing in envelopes. I think it's really nice touch to add your own beautiful hand lettering in there. So give to family. And then next thing you know, they'll be asking you to write for their invitations. So be careful not to be so good at it because I'm like, can you do this? Can you do that? But I think that's the joy of it when you can share something anyway. So, but that's what happened, you know? So the more you practice, the more you're like, you feel confident. Okay, I can do this. Now you're going to turn it into a hobby. And then all of a sudden, that hobby, you're going to turn it into a small business. And that's your goals and plans, right? Is that how can you change this? Or maybe not, maybe just a hobby that you just really want to do. But still, even if you don't sell anything, giving it as gifts, really, really, really special. Handmade gifts are still the best. Handmade cards, the best. Now my kids are getting older. My handmade cards stopped. So I'm like, oh no. What is it that I notice here? Notice it that my stroke for my letter F is way too close. And so now I didn't have enough space for my dot. You know, it's like one of those little things that the more you practice, you're going to see, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. But I think it's important also to slow down to say that, you know what, we're going to pivot. It's going to look okay. No one's going to know. No one's going to know. All right, then the word words is pretty is much, much smaller than everything else because I wanted to fit the word amazing right here without compromising for the quote to be so large. So I just picked that the words is and the word pretty would be much smaller than everything, but it still looks great because what happens is that these words frames and prep everything else for the next word, which is the word amazing. And then the word amazing is just the opposite of the word because. See, we have a little arch in here. The word because is arch. And this one is going to do the opposite. It's going to like a smile. So these two words, the words because and amazing, frames the rest of the quote. Just like this. I think my sketch is too light. I'm having a hard time seeing it. I really, really love this brush pen. Huh. I love it. So brand new to me, but I really love it. The tools, I think tools, honestly, with you is just doing it over and over. Like, for example, the word because I could have done that much better. That's being completely honest. But we're going to try and finish this up. And then we'll try to kind of like practice with some words that we can compose together because we have a lot of time to do that. So I'm just going to finish up the word amazing in here. Then we kind of like practice a few quotes together. Simple quotes that you can use for maybe cards. This tools would be to sketch it first. That's the very best advice that I can give is sketch. Sketching is so important. Don't skip it. Just because you'll be so much more happier if you started with a sketch. And also don't be married to an idea. So for example, you have this one idea. This is it. I will not change it. The thing is, just like in life, you have to pivot sometimes. You know, sometimes the original idea is really just not the way to go. So when you sketch and you practice, you realize that and you accept that, you know, that it is part of it. Change is part of art. And so that's the best tool that you can use is sketch it first, really sketch it. And you're going to be so much happier in the end. Just like that. And so because the word because here is not arched enough for me, like that. What I want to do is I want to do the little teardrops. And this is where it's going to kind of balance the word amazing as well here, because the word amazing is much bigger than everything else. And the word because is not exactly in the middle because I've written the letter H bigger. So we're going to change that. And we're going to kind of like add some accents and embellishments by adding like a teardrop. It's just a teardrop shape. And then I will fill in that shape. And then I'll kind of go try my hardest to make it look the same. But I want the right side to be a little longer than the left because I have more space on my right side. Right? That's what happens. And I'm going to go tilt my paper because it's much easier. So I'll write a bigger one, fill it in, and I'm going to do the opposite, go on the other side, tilt it right here. I'm going to do it right back. And so now we have that. I'm going to go one in the middle. Are you guys having a hard time with a handout? Huh. I feel like I could have adjusted this teardrop a little bit more, but you know what? We're good with that for now. And then I want to add some more framing, just lines. I mean, look at that. It's really highlighting, just adding some simple lines like this, right? Just kind of like accent the word amazing. That blue is too much. And now I'm going to use a purple and I'm going to add line underneath the words is and pretty, but I'm going to make it like kind of like a slant instead of just one straight line. Right. Now, the thing with drop shadow is something that will change the whole look or ruin the whole look of your art. So you have to be careful when adding your drop shadow. The key to adding a drop shadow is choosing just one side. So this is, think of it as, okay, the first thing to decide is where your light source is coming from. So you want to decide, is your light source coming from your right or is it going to come in from the left? So if I say I want my sun or my light source to come in from my top right, so all of your shadows will be cast where? On this left side, right? So if you decide that, okay, my sun is going to be on the top right, so all of our shadow is going to be on the left, right? So you have to make it consistent. You cannot make everything here is on the left. Then the next words, I want to add the drop shadow on the right. And that's what's going to ruin it because you have to be consistent with which part of your stroke or your letter you're going to add your drop shadow to. Okay. And so we're going to add here, just like that. So I'm choosing to the left side of my letters. So here in the B, I'm going to add a little bit in there and here and there as well. I am so sorry. This light is just not good. So here, this left side of my letter E, the left side of this little tails, just like that. And then here, this left side of my letter C. There's a little bit of left side in here also, and this one. I'm just going to go a little faster so we can have other time to create some quotes. There we go. And then I'm going to use the same color, just the same color to everything, which is the light pink from the set. What happened to our camera? Uh-oh. I'm not sure. Is it dead?
Yeah, we just got a battery. I just saw a battery low
Oh,
notification
really?
light.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to my phone. No problem. Set this one up. All right. Go. Switch this. Let's see. Um, close up. Go to cam. Camera. It's me. Hi. The problem, it's me. All right, guys. Let me pivot like life. All right. Okay. Now we'll have to zoom in. And then we're going to have to flip the camera real quick. Here we go. All right, that works. And so we're just going to add my drop shadow. But this is really all we can learn about the drop shadow. Now I want to switch over before we run out of time. I want to do a little bit of quotes with you, kind of like the words, simple words first. Let's start with the words. Thank you. Thanksgiving is coming up. So I think we should try and do that. Here we go. Let's try that. So if you want to start with sketching, this is how I would compose something. Let's say the words thank you so much, right? So my first step is always I will write the words thank you so much. Now that I have just the basic of my words, having sometimes shape, for example, I want to use the word the shape triangle, right? Or you want to use an oval. This really does help you to decide how to compose the letters. But sometimes a triangle is really hard because that means you have to start with this is good if you have the word I, let's say, and then the word love. And then you want to make sure that you cover the larger space here at the bottom. But I want to give you just kind of like the basic. The words thank you so much will not work with a triangle. That's going to be really hard because that means the word think is going to be really small. But if you want to do that, we can't also say, let's say I have a triangle, right? So first deciding which is the word that I want to focus. I think I want to focus on the word you. Thank you. So we can focus on having the words here at the bottom because this is my highlight. So I'll put in my word you in here. Okay. And then have the word thank you. And then I'll have the word so in here, right? And then the words much. You can do it as a print or as a script. But see, seeing this, what can we adjust? We can adjust the words much to move into the right side a little bit more. So let's say word so. I'll start my letter M here, or play around with the size of your letters. And thank you so much. But see how having the shape really does help. And what you can do here is maybe then add a letter, a heart shape to fill in that space right here. So that is good composition or good exercises when you're doing some composition. So let's try with another word. So let's do the thank you so much again. But this time, I want to put the focus in the so and the word much. How do we do that? Okay, I'm going to write it down first. Again, very simple, plain. So thank. So the thank is what I want to focus on. So thank you. Play around with that. And then the word so. Play around with the width of your letter to really occupy that space. So, and then this one, I have to make it thinner and smaller. But that's a good exercise to try. See how it just changed it. So we have the word thank you is smaller because I said I want to focus on the word so. Then you can use your accents to really highlight more of that word. Okay, so I really like this. It's more balanced. You know, I have everything, the word so, really focus on that. If I want to do this in brush lettering, switch to another page, right? So I'm going to write it down now. I think we'll keep it as a script. Let's say thank. This is going to be the width of all my letters. The thank is my guide. So I'm going to, the words you, I'm going to write the word you in brush script or in a script. But it's going to be wider because I want to make sure that I covered up the whole space in here. And so the word so has to be extravagant big. And so I don't think my letter S is wide enough for that. So let's erase it. There. Now my O is not long enough. And see, this is where sketching is your friend. Honestly, it's going to be your friend when it comes to doing compositions because you can go in different revisions and doing different style and designs, and you will be just so glad that you did because it's going to be the most helpful like that. All right, so thank you so, and then I'll write the word much to balance everything. I'm going to write it in a print as well. I'll write the words M and then H to make sure that I have the right spacing for the two other letters that's left in the middle. So we have U and C. That didn't help much. I need to make my letter U much wider. There we go. Thank you so much. All right, then if you're happy with your everything, the size, the shape, the distance of your letters, then this is what it's going to be. Then I'm going to use my eraser, handy dandy, and then just kind of roll again. And this time I might have to go erase it a little bit more. I'm going to go. Because I just can tell where everything is. So if you feel like you need more guide, then try not to erase so much. Okay, I'm going to use the orange color. I think this is the prettiest one to use. Let's see. Oh, that makes you dizzy. Let me switch here. Quick, like that. All right. Again, my paper, my journal, my canvas is tilted to the left. I'm going to write the word think. And I hope this exercise right here helps a lot when it comes to your composition, because there is nothing that can help you but trial and error. Honestly, that is going to be the best teacher, is when you're making mistakes and then you can correct your own mistakes. That's how you're going to learn. All right, then I have that. Switch to the purple for the word you. And then here, you can still make adjustments in here. If you feel like, you know what, I feel like I could have adjusted my letter Y to the left, then do so, right? So my letter O. Like that. And then I'll go back to the orange. For the letter S. What you also can do for the words, for example, this one right here, the letter S and the letter O, you can make it much smaller and stick it right to the middle. And then you can add those little tiny accents that we added earlier, kind of like lines, or you can add those little teardrops as well to kind of accommodate the real estate that you have on both sides. And then the word much. And just simple plain print. But that's it. And I think we can still do that. Another way to accent a word is actually adding a little bit of like little tiny objects and shapes. For example, I really love using diamonds or stars. These are my favorite accents to add to my letterings. For example, fall is coming up, then maybe like kind of tiny leaves around it, frame it and all that. To me, I love adding like little tiny diamonds like this, just all around. And also play around with the shape of the diamonds. Some are much, smaller than the rest. Some are probably bigger. Just make sure that it doesn't take out so much attention, take up so much attention that you're taking it away from your subject, which is your quote. Make sure that it's just accents and the focus is not truly in the diamonds or your little embellishments. So I think I'm good with that. See how pretty that was and how simple also we created that. How fast as well. Oh, I have my, I was like looking for my cap. There's my cap. Kneadable eraser. Oh my gosh. It just came to me. This is a kneadable eraser. All right. So if you guys are wondering, that was like 30 minutes before it came to me. Kneadable eraser. So we're going to add a little bit of drop shadow in here. I'm going to use the same light pink color, just like that. Again, I'm just choosing to the left of each stroke. Left of this, like that, and here, right? And then I'm going to add a line for the word much. Just like that. But that was so fun. You can even use the same color, kind of like you can use the same coral color or the orange color to highlight add some drop shadow. But instead of adding thicker drop shadow here, let me focus on that. See how much I made it much thicker? You can actually use just plain lines. So here's to the left. I'm just going to add thin strokes. Just like that. See how that can accent and change things as well. You want to make sure that you go close enough. And this is why I said your drop shadow can either make or break your artwork because it's so easy to make mistake here. So just take your time, okay? Don't be in a hurry like me. Sometimes I go really fast and then I ruin the whole artwork and it's like the finishing touches and you can't do anything about it. So I am speaking based from experience. So just take your time, really. But that's it. Thank you so much. I mean, I hope that this was fun. I apologize for the little boo boo of our camera, but nothing that we couldn't fix, right? You just couldn't see my face here again to say bye bye to everybody. And I do apologize for taking forever before the word kneadable eraser came to me, but it's called the kneadable eraser. And again, this is the brand new black edition soft brush pens from Faber Castell. Um, in behalf of Faber-Castell and Michael Store, my name is Lay Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Lay on the internet. If you have any questions, you can find me online, send me a message. I am so happy to be part of your creative journey. I'm here to help in any way. I hope that this class was fun. Thank you again for being here. It's truly appreciated. I hope you get to join us again next time. Next week, same time, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. We have a very fun class. So thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your evening. And thank you all for your birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. Thanks, everyone. Stay creative and stay happy. Bye.